Welcome to another episode of The Savvy Author. I am your host, Clara Rose. If you have been with us before, welcome back, my friend. Of course, if you haven't seen us before, thank you for joining us today. Every week I show up and we talk about how you can be a more savvy author. What are the tips, tricks, tools, or resources you need to get your book out to the world in a savvy way? And if you were here last week, you know that we started a two-part series on getting your message out to the world using podcasts. And we have a special guest in the studio today to help you learn all about the moving parts and pieces of that. So welcome back, John Gaston, my producer. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, everybody.
So let's recap a little bit what we talked about last week for those who weren't here.
Yep.
So they catch them up.
Okay, so last week we talked about platforms that were open, and closed and semi-closed, and where podcasting came from. That's a kind of a big deal. Once you understand that side of it, you're like, oh, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Especially why it's called a podcast, right?
Right.
So, and I gave you a little bit of background on me. You know, I've been doing this since the mid '90s, but podcasting since '05. One of the first 1,000 podcasts on iTunes ever. So. Yeah, I'm like the OG of podcasting. I'm not the greatest, but I'm dang good at what I do. So I've been in
one
in
of the
AV
original
world for, original
forever.
Gangsters. Yep.
Right? Original gangsta.
Yep. Original gangsta. So now today, because we mentioned last week, closed platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, X. I wish they'd just go back to it. I think it should be X Twitter. That's just what
X Twitter.
X Twitter.
I like it. I'll talk to Elon about that.
Yeah, you tell Elon on that, right?
I'll tell him.
So anything that needs a username and password to get in is a closed platform.
Closed.
Semi-closed platforms are YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, those kind of platforms where you can view Amazon Prime. You can view, but you can't interact, you can't like, you can't share. You have to log into an account to be able to do that. But you can still watch everything that's on there. Now, we're going to talk about open platforms. And guess what? There's only one.
Drum roll, please.
Your website. So, websites make they are what you can control 100% of the time and never worry about getting blocked, never worry about getting censored, never get strikes or anything like that because it's your website.
Right.
Now, if you have a website that takes a username and password to even view it, you must be one heck of a big dude, and it's super locked down because there's just things you don't want people to see. But for the most part, they should be wide open. And if you go to Area 52, so I took a screenshot of Area 52. There's where my video plays. I don't ask you for a username and password. I don't ask you for a phone number. I just don't. You get to go on there and watch whatever's playing at that time. And if you missed a show, you get to go click on a link that will take you to where all the shows are, and you can go back and watch their shows, right? Because I'm as cheap as it gets, I still use YouTube as my CDN. Right? So we all need YouTube, right? Every video you do, everything needs to go on YouTube first, and then all the social medias. Now, the reason I harp about websites is because that is where your selling is done. That's where you sell.
Sure.
That's where you give information. That's where you do everything that you need people to know that you do. Facebook. Okay, I'm not gonna pick on Facebook too much because it's Facebook and it's easy. That's like picking on a weakling, right? So all your social medias are meant for one thing, and that is to push people to your website.
Mm,
Let
okay.
the website be the salesperson that never calls in sick, doesn't come in with a
Mm,
hangover, doesn't have an attitude, doesn't make you look bad in front of the country unless you just have a crappy website, and that's on you,
mhm,
right? But
mhm. Right.
that's where your information, and then your website really should give the information to make people go, I got to call Clara because I really need to write a book. I really do,
Right.
right? So there you go. So the number one, the only one that is uncensored is your website.
Mm,
And then I gave this talk about 6 months ago, 7 months ago, and the guy goes, well, I don't have internet. And I'm like, you have a phone, right? He goes, yeah. I said, and it looks to me like it's one of the new galaxies, unfortunately. He goes, yep. I said, you have internet.
you have internet
You
right
have internet.
there.
Right. So you have, he may not have it at
Interesting.
home, and he may not watch cable TV, but he has it on his phone, which means he
Mhm.
is a potential client. So do you ever sit in those networking groups where they say, who is your perfect client? And you can't say
Mhm.
everyone, right? Wrong.
Right.
Wrong. Every person on this planet is my client. And I know I'm not supposed to say that because I work I work B2B and I work B2C.
Mhm.
And my goal is to get people to come to me, and everybody's got to take this the way it's truly meant. I like people with egos. Not bad egos, but an ego. Because those are the people that have no problem doing exactly what we're doing right now. We all
Yeah.
have, that's an ego. We all have one,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
should be a good ego. So
Right.
now, the one of the things that we do is we help you get on the right platforms. Now, there are a ton of platforms. I mean, a ton of them. And I'm trying to go back and find that wonderful text that you sent. Oh, you know what? It's a messenger. So you really do, you can't be everywhere. It's impossible. It's impossible.
Because there's too many.
There's too
Right.
many.
Too
And
overwhelming.
and that's that whole throw the spaghetti on the wall, see what sticks. That doesn't work. You don't fake it till you make it. I hate that terminology. You don't ever fake it
Mm-hmm.
till you make it. You do it the right way from the beginning and you're not faking it.
Sure.
That's just the way it is, right? So you in my personal opinion, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon Alexa or Amazon, Stitcher, iHeart, and I don't know, maybe I don't. That's the ones that's the ones I really like anyway. So those are the major platforms. Going out there and getting
Okay.
all these other smaller platforms is watering first it's watering your time down. So I use so now let's talk about platforms, right? Where people go. I use a little thing called Podbean, right? And they will, if you sign up with them, it is not free. You can sign up for free, but to do really what you need to do, it's going to cost you money, right? So this is a platform that helps you get out to the correct platforms. But
Okay.
here's what podcasters are not told. In the back end, to be on iHeart, you have to pay money to be able to be on their platform. Same thing with Stitcher. Same thing with Amazon. These are not free platforms. So you have to decide in your brain, well, where do I want to go? How much money do I have? You have to play this smart. So iTunes,
Right.
you have to now all these things you have to have a back account, which you have to go set up before you go to Podbean, which is really weird. But once you're set up, because you have to attach everything, you upload to Podbean. Podbean takes that podcast, and you have to have a good image, a good message for each show, different synopsis. You upload it, and it will automatically populate for you all the other
To
platforms that you need to be on. Right.
okay.
And that's a really good thing. Maybe I'll send you the link and you can send that link out to all your people that want to know.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a
Absolutely.
big deal, right? But if you're doing a podcast, and you put it on YouTube, not only does YouTube have your video, they also have a podcast section as well, which guess what? Puts you into Google Play.
Ah, interesting. So let me
Ah, yes.
ask you a question then,
Yep.
because I was trying to connect all the dots in my head. So you want to be on YouTube first,
Yep.
and then do you stream that then to your website? Because you said,
Yes. There you go. So,
okay, so you don't put it on your website, you
right.
stream it to your
That's
website or
correct. Now,
hook it up,
if,
however. So it shows up on your website
yeah,
too,
exactly.
but
So
it's
you take it,
housed at YouTube.
YouTube. Now, for
Okay.
people that are afraid that YouTube is going to censor them, and YouTube
Mhm.
does, there's
Mhm.
always services, and I always suggest to tell everybody to go to Amazon,
Mm.
AWS, and
Okay. Yeah.
they have a back end where you can load your videos up there, and then grab the
Okay.
embed and put it, and they will
Okay.
house it. Again, that's going to cost you money. Just
Right.
I'm just letting you know. Rumble, same thing. Rumble you can put on there. See, it depends on what side of that fence you're on, and I really don't care.
Okay.
But if you're left, they have you're more Amazon YouTube friendly. If you're right,
Gotcha.
you're more Rumble friendly. There is another
Okay.
platform out there that came up for a while, but I just don't hear it talked about as much in it. And matter of fact, I don't even remember the name, so that tells you how much people talk about it. So
They're not talked about.
you can privately house your own videos, which back in the day when we were Tampa Bay Multimedia before we switched over to YouTube, we housed everything on our own inbound servers, our outbound servers.
Oh,
And I
okay.
had a young man that was a great web guy, and he literally got in there and built stuff and put the long tail and built me playlists and all that kind of fun stuff. So if you come on with me and say, "Hey, John, I want you to produce my podcast. I want you to put it on all of our media," which we will do. I can even go as far as giving you a live link to your website for your show when it airs at a certain time. I, everybody says live video is the better way to go. I don't, it can be, but you have to be ready for that kind of stuff, and that's a big budget. You're talking big money, right?
Okay.
But if you embed on YouTube, and then you take that embed code for your new show each week and put it on your front page, which is super simple. It really is. Then you've got the ability to play your latest episode on the front of your website so everybody can get to see it. And then if everybody wants to go see a back end videos or on demand stuff, you just build a secondary page on your website and go on demand stuff and then go drop them all in there.
Because it's just a
easy.
link, not
Yeah.
literally housing them there. You're
No,
just a link over to
right.
where they are being
Exactly.
housed,
You're
which
going to
is
go to
YouTube.
YouTube gives you an embed code. You take that embed code, put it in as an HTML embed on your website, and now you have all your videos. So that's one way to do it. Or Rumble, if you want to use Rumble, you can use Rumble.
Okay.
They do the same thing. So yeah, it's important to do this. So if you're going to do this right, there's a couple of ways of doing it. One is you can get someone like myself. You don't got to use me. Use somebody else if you want. And they come in and they build you a system, a setup. Like they'll build you some backdrops, build you a little computer, whole 9 yards. Or you can do it the easy way, like I suggest everybody to do. Like I love Clara. I've loved having Clara in our studios. It was awesome. But now that we're all over the country, it's easy for me to send Clara a link. She comes in with a professional. You have a professional camera. You have professional
I
lighting. You have
do.
it's there, right?
Yeah.
So now you get to talk to anybody in the world, and all we do is send that person a
From
link,
my
just like I'm
office.
doing now, right? From the comfort of your office, right? And now
Yeah.
when we're done, you don't have to edit because
Right.
that's what
Beautiful thing.
everybody that I've bought more used gear for people running out and buying all this gear and going to be a podcaster. And then when they get done, they went, well, no one told me I had to edit. No one told me I had to clean this up. Nobody told me that was going to be this hard. I'm not an editor. You're right. You're not. Right.
Yeah.
And then to keep the cost down, I don't want to be your editor either. What we do
Right.
is like this whole show you're watching right now, it's not been edited, right? It's a
Right.
one complete
Yep.
run through, whole 9 yards. It keeps your
Yeah.
budget down. It keeps your time down, and your videos go up faster. Now, if you don't want me in your social media, it costs you less. And then we just send you the video and then go, there you go. Have fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's ultimately, but it all boils down to pushing everything to your website to where your walls are wide open and people can see your content. And now, if you want to do training videos and you want someone to pay for those training videos, that's a second piece on your website that people can log on. We can help you build those too, or you doing your stuff. And then that's a username and password wall that you want to get in there where people pay and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So,
right. Which is a different beast. And I do
It
have
is.
that because I have the Savvy Author membership,
That's
and that
correct.
is behind a paid, right? It's a monthly membership. All the goodies with how to create your book, how to write your book, how to edit your book, all those pieces live behind a paywall, right? And thus you're part of the Savvy Author membership, get to have access to those things.
That's correct.
But what I haven't done is put my weekly show on my website, so until we had a conversation over the weekend, I didn't even think about. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah. Because so social media lies to you, and everybody should know that. I mean, I hope they know that. They will never tell you truly how many people watch. And they won't truly tell you how many people watch all the way through. They're going to give you their statistics that they want to give you, especially if you're monetized. Because if they truly give you all those numbers, they're going to have to pay you more than what they want to pay you.
Right.
I'm not being
sense.
mean. I'm not being rude. I'm just being honest, right? It just drives me insane when people go, well, I got 100 views. No, you probably got 300 or 400 views, but they don't want to pay you on those extra 300. Right. So, but on your website, you're guaranteed, because you have back end analytics, you can tell how many people hit that video, hit that front page, hit that secondary page, hit through your click-through links, everything, right? Now, so with that being said, I have a couple little gadgets, and I think you do too. I like yours a lot, but you can get, okay, so real quick, a couple weeks ago, about a month ago, we did a live shoot for a young lady that had 2 iPhones and an iPad. Each one had a different link. Each one of the guests were connected to the thing. I was switching in studio, like I was sitting there, and I showed it to a buddy of mine. He goes, "You drove all the way out there for that? You flew?" I said, "No, I did that remotely." And you'd never know. Never know.
Which is awesome.
Right. So I tell people, run out and get a simple stand like this, right? A little video simple stand. I have a version of the microphone that I've got here, right, that is actually able to plug into your computer and be professional audio 100%, right? And then I love the website Newer. These guys have all kind of stuff. And I'm not telling you to use them, but if Austin wants to take over that screen that I sent him. So this right here is probably the easiest light you'll ever use. If I can get it, I got to hold it on for a while. There it goes. Right? So, and it has different color modes. And these little things, they're inexpensive. That's all you need. Literally all you need. Get a couple of these, put them in front of you, boom, you're done. You always want to have a good microphone, a good light, a good external camera. Don't use, if you can get away with not using the camera in your laptop, you should. Because that camera in your laptop is not high def. It is UHD, it's up-resed, right? So they make it look like it's a good thing, but it's not. Go full screen on me there. And so it takes the ability away from I'm trying to figure where I'm trying to hey, Austin, back here in the back, take over that NDI so you can show that website. This is probably one of the best little websites you can run on. It gives you the ability to have a lot of different assets to be able to go on the road with. We'll build a studio for it. When I talk to you, I will actually talk to you about the oh, I know why he's having a problem. I'll be all right. It you got to have the right equipment to get the right thing done, and we try to take your budget in mind because not everybody has a huge budget. So it it gives you the ability to not spend a ton of money, but you got to use the right equipment. You have to have decent lights, and Neewer is probably the inexpensive but good for your money. You got to have an external camera, an earpiece that you can actually hear into because you don't want to have your laptop or computer speakers on so that way it feeds back and stuff. So
Right.
so come back to me, Austin. And so this is something that we do, that we travel all over the country and we try to help people out and try to help them build it, or we just keep it simple. I mean, sometimes simple is all you need to start. You just need a laptop or a computer with a camera, a little bit of light, or we can come in and build you an actual studio inside your house. So that way you can actually, do what we do without us. And I'm good with that. I'm good with building people studios where they never ever call me again. As a matter of fact, we have a TikTok guy that I just got sent link to, and I gave this guy a layout of how to build a studio about 4 or 5 years ago, and he's huge on TikTok. So I just saying, So
Yeah,
anyway,
but there's value. There's value in having something professionally produced, right?
right,
I have all the stuff, like I'll show you my camera. I got or my microphone. I have the
microphone.
snowball. I have the camera that you told me to buy.
Yep,
I have this actually holds my iPad.
right.
Um, if I'm doing something that where I need to be able to read something, I could use it to
Yep,
do the show on, I suppose.
yep. You
So
could.
all of the things that you've told me that I need, I have good lighting, but we've been doing it for a little while now that I can't come into the studio because you're
Right.
like gallivanting all over the
I
countryside
know.
now,
We're everywhere.
right? But it works fine for my show.
Yep.
But you still produce on the back end,
Yep.
right? I'm still getting the lower thirds. I'm still getting. I don't. I don't have the time as a professional to do all those other things,
Right.
right? And just like I tell people, don't try to write your book on your own and throw it out there and have it be garbage, right? I'm saying the same thing about how you market yourself and how you market your book or your business or whatever it is you're trying to put out to the world. Hire a professional. Have a professional help you and do what they do best. You're going to end up with a better quality product in the end. It is always worth it to pay a plumber to do plumber work. It
Yeah, you
is
don't want me
always
doing
worth.
your plumbing
No, no. But I'm
ever.
saying if you need a plumber, hire
Yep.
a plumber,
Yep.
right? If you want to write a book, hire a professional. If you want to do a podcast, hire a professional to help you
Yep.
so that you're not just looking like a fool, right? Don't embarrass yourself. Hire
The
a professional. And
the
it's
old
not
days of
expensive,
just do it. Oh
right?
no! Don't just do it. Don't just
You
do it.
can, but we can all tell,
Yeah.
right? I get people send me books all the time. Like, think because I'm a publisher and because I do this for a living, they'll send me a book and I'll open it up. And the very first thing that I look at is the title and the cover, right? So
Yep.
I know what to expect it to be about. Open it up. And if the formatting is terrible, I don't even read it, honestly. I just close it and set it aside because
Right.
I know this is not a professionally produced piece of work, right?
Correct.
So I don't want to have to work really hard to read your book,
Right.
right? So
Right.
that I can give you kudos for it, right?
Yep.
So hire a professional, hire a professional.
Yep. I watch.
So that's why I work with Sean.
Oh, there you go. Thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that. I see so many of these guys on TikTok and Facebook and all their stuff like that, and man, the information they're giving is absolutely phenomenal. But if I look at someone that can't wear a set of earbuds correctly, I
Or they
literally,
sound terrible.
I, this guy had a pair of Apple earbuds and they were coming out and they were sticking way down. Like it's like you just stuck them in going, okay,
Who
they work.
cares?
No, I can't get past that. I can't get past
Yeah.
the fact that that guy can't wear a set of headphones. So why am I going to listen to anything else he says?
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
I
There's
know
some
that's
truth to
petty.
that, right?
Yeah. And yeah.
Well,
So
it might be petty, but if you think about it from, I mean, that's specific to your industry, just like the book thing is for me. But
right.
if you, for any professional, if the quality of how it looks or sounds or feels is poor, your message is lost on them because
Right.
they are going to tune you out. You don't have credibility. You don't have authority with them any longer.
Right.
So just keep that in mind when you're trying
So
to put your message out to the
I
world.
know it says a minute 37. We're not solid on that number. So is there any other
Okay.
questions that you need to get off your chest going, what about this? Or what about this?
So I guess where to start? Where do I start? I mean, do I need to set up my own YouTube channel so that I can stream it to my website? Where do I tell my followers or my Savvy Author members, where do we start?
They need to have a consultation with me. And I don't mean that
Okay.
because
So
I just think I'm all that, but someone needs
no.
to walk you step by step on step, literally. Matter of fact, you know what? What I'm going to do is me and my new guy, Austin, who's awesome. We'll develop a plan. So that way, step one,
Okay.
step two, step three, step four. I've never really done this because it's all up here, right?
Right.
Because you want to make sure you do the right steps first.
Right.
And like, so some of the times, the first thing I say is, well, you need a logo. Before you even talk to me or anybody else, you need a brand. So is your brand a
Right.
logo? Is it got a logo good for TV? Is it got a good for podcasting? Because there's certain artwork that you got to be able to use. So you need, a logo and whole 9 yards. And then we will work on what social medias you need to do. Because some people may already have it, but you don't want to mix personal with business.
Right. I
And
totally
then
agree with
sometimes
that.
personal with personal is fine because it's a book and whole 9 yards. But sometimes you need that clean. It needs to be, this is
Yeah.
literally all this social media is for. And then once you do that, we develop a game plan and go from there. And then we get going. We're literally cutting a new intro for a new show that helps with the veterans, homelessness and suicide. It's a whole
Wow.
new, and so
Thanks.
we're literally developing. And he came to us, goes, I got a podcast, but I'm not really getting the reach. And I'm like, well,
Right.
that's
And
what
that
we do.
matters,
That
right?
does matter.
Right? It
I want
matters. The reach
platforms to be on.
matters.
So yeah,
Right.
that's. I don't care if they even just talk to you, but they need to talk to
I'm
someone to
just going to
get.
send them to you.
Game plan is number one. If you, the old saying is, if you fail to plan, you need to plan to fail.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
It really is what
Hire
it
a
is.
professional
Yeah.
always. It's
Yeah.
always worth the money to have
Or
somebody tell you
watch
how to do it right.
YouTube. Watch YouTube instead of Holiday Inn Express. You'll be a genius.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Thank you so much for being on the show. I
Oh,
really
you're very
appreciate
welcome.
your time. So, those of you, if you are at that stage where you're ready to get some help for your getting your book out of your head and out to the world, head on over to clararose.com and click on that link and drop in your name and email. And I'm going to send you some free information about how you can get started with the next Savvy Author group coming through the membership program. If you're interested in because you have a book or you have a business, you have a ministry, cause, or brand, you are ready to do a podcast, you can email me at hello@clararose.com, and I'm going to hook you up with my producer, John, who was just on the last 2 weeks with me, and he will get you started in your very own podcast and getting your message out to the world in that way. So once again, thank you for being here. I appreciate that you show up every week for me, and I love being a part of your journey to being a savvy author. I'll see you same time next week, same place. Take care.